Hi, you're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K, broadcasting around the world, award winners and emerging artists from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida. Everything you see around you right now and everything you have ever seen with your own eyes, and everything you have ever heard with your ears and experienced with any of your senses is some combination of electrons, protons and neutrons, along with the three forces of gravity, electromagnetism, and the nuclear force that holds protons and neutrons together. The story of electrons, protons and neutrons had come together by the early 1930s. At that time, it must have been irresistible to imagine that these three fermions were really the fundamental ingredients of the universe, the basic Lego blocks out of which everything is constructed, but nature had some more twists in store. And this is what we can read in a book called The Particle at the End of the Universe by Sean Carroll. And out of everything that we can see and touch, as the author explains, is the Higgs boson, a fundamental particle of nature. And later on, the author continues, the Higgs is important not for what it is, but for what it does. The Higgs particle arises from a field pervading space, known as the Higgs field. Everything in the universe, as it travels through space, moves through the Higgs field. It's always there, lurking invisibly in the background. Without it, the world would be an utterly different place, and now we've found it. Well, the importance of Higgs boson pretty much resembles the importance of us humans in resonance with the universe. We also are important not for what we are, but what we do. Same with art and music. What the music does for us, what inspiration it brings to us.
What is up, my friends? This is Erik Deutsch coming to you from Mexico City, CDMX, and you are listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. My new album, This Was Then, came out Friday, July 18th. It's my 9th album, featuring Tony Mason on the drums, Jeff Hill bass, Avi Bordnick on the guitar, Brian Dry trombone, Mike McGinnis on the reeds, especially a lot of alto flute, Mauro Rafosco on the percussion, and yours truly, Eric D, on the keys. I'm super psyched about it, and it's getting some great feedback, but I'm especially excited that you guys are checking it out with Dimitri K here on Light Lounge. So enjoy it, stay in touch, hope to see you out there in the world. Peace, y'all.
Coming up, Eric Knight and Mo Lewis, Soul to Soul.
Hi, I am Roberto Vazquez, and you're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. I am a smooth jazz pianist from Las Vegas, here in the United States, and I would like to take the opportunity to say thank you to Dimitri K for the invitation, and say hi also and thank you to all the listeners for their amazing support. I hope you guys enjoy my music as much as I do. I say goodbye for now and have an amazing day.
Hi, this is Warren Keller, leader of SGC, Spontaneous Groovin' Combustion, and you're listening to The Light Lounge with Dimitri K. We're pleased to share our latest single, Funk in the Trunk, co-written with and produced by the one and only Blake Aaron, featuring him on guitar and some of the best session players in contemporary jazz. Please enjoy SGC, Spontaneous Groovin' Combustion. You can find us at sgcsmooth.com.
Hi, this is Andy Mitran of Al Jewer and Andy Mitran, and I'm pleased to be with you here today on Light Lounge with Dimitri K. I'm pleased to tell you about Precious Stones, the new album from Al Jewer and myself featuring Hans Christian. We chose Precious Stones as a concept because we think there's a lot of similarities between the way gemstones form and the way our music forms. Gemstones form deep in the ground under immense pressure over a long period of time to achieve their potential. And when they do, no two gemstones are alike. And similarly, our music is crafted over a long period of time. And we put pressure on ourselves to make our music realize its potential. And just like gemstones, no two pieces of our music are alike. And nowhere is that more evident than on this album, Precious Stones. So we hope that it reaches in and touches you. We hope that it takes you on a journey, and we appreciate you listening. And we also really appreciate Light Lounge with Dimitri K. Thank you for providing this platform that allows our music to reach new listeners.
You're welcome, Andy. Let's enjoy Onyx.
Hi, this is David Fogel, CEO of the Symphonina Foundation, and you're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. From the album Ascension, Symphonina Rising, you're listening to Alexander Unseth Symphonina No. 2, Childhood Symphonina, Movement 3, Christmas Morning, as performed by the International Symphonina Orchestra, and we hope you enjoy it.
Life is better than listening to a commercial radio station playing endlessly a few resembling songs. If you feel that way, you came at the right place. Light Lounge with Dimitri K plays the best award winners and independent artists around the world. Violinist David Russell is one of the most celebrated violin pedagogues of his generation. Professor of violin, director of Masterclass Al Andalus for violin, held annually in Spain, distinguished member of the jury at international competitions. He has given numerous recitals and masterclasses across North and South America, the Middle East, Europe and Asia. Welcome to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. David.
Thank you, Dimitri. It's an honor and pleasure for me to join you. I'm delighted to have the opportunity.
You're welcome, David. From your new album, Andalusian Legacy, let's listen to La Vida Breve, Dance, Española, number 1. After a summer in Cordoba, Spain, you were captivated by the Andalusian region and its history and music, and for the last 10 years you decided to experiment with forming your own masterclass in Spain, independent of the local conservatorio. Is that where the idea for your album Andalusian Legacy came from?
Yes, it was the beginning. My Masterclass Al Andalus program and the Andalusian Legacy recording came out of an ongoing, intense love affair with the history, culture, and people of Andalusia. Sometimes it feels like some mystical force from that deep culture reached out and kidnapped me. It made me one of its own and then said, "Now go tell the world about us." I'm not sure whether to call it inspiration, but it's definitely love. I only know that creating Andalusian Legacy felt like that from start to finish.
I love the idea of intense love affair that kidnapped you. The intensity of the music in your album certainly exudes the excitement. We're listening to El Poema de una Soluquena. The flamenco culture has a long history since the kingdom of Al-Andalus after the 15th century and before. The gypsy culture, with its exuberant at times dark sound also, though popular in other Eastern European countries, Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, Hungary, and else, is a signature for this part of Spain. I guess this is where the intense love affair, as you mentioned, came from.
Absolutely. Flamenco is where the culture of Andalusia gets its fire. Every year I hold Masterclass Al Andalus. I take my students to experience flamenco at its best in a cave in the gypsy section of Granada called Sacromonte. There's a spiritual force to flamenco that sometimes spontaneously appears, and it's called duende. When that happens, all the dividing lines between the performer, the music, the listener, time and place fall away, and everything becomes one. It's an exquisite expression of life and passion, all painted on a backdrop of death and mortality. But once that's experienced, there's no going back. It lights a fire in your soul that calls out to be expressed. The great philosopher Goethe once described duende as something that everyone can recognize but no philosopher can explain. I think that pretty much describes it.
Well, I'm sure at the time of Goethe describing the flamenco, the scientists have not come to the idea of singularity, but the merger between performer, music, listener, time, and space. That's pretty much what it is. Albany Records describes your new album as music as pulse, breath and bloodline. I would add that it sounds buoyant and light, clear, intelligent, with fabulous touches. Its dynamic peaks and valleys may catch you unaware.
You make me blush. Although one review of the recording says I play with carnal urgency. So that's hard to beat in the blush-worthy category. But, well, truly I did my utmost to let Andalusia speak through my playing. The recording is an expression of the depth and love of all things life, found in Andalusia, in both the sunny places and the dark ones. So hopefully the performances capture some of that.
And we are witness. Andalusia speaks through your play.
La niña con bello rostro sigue cogiendo aceituna. La niña con bello rostro sigue cogiendo aceituna. Con el brazo gris del viento, ceñido por la cintura. Árbole, árbole, seco y verde.
Every album bears the fingerprints of the musicians taking part. Tell us something more about your collaborators.
You know, the addition of the artistry of castanet player Estefania Brau and flamenco guitarist Fabio Bosch-Frier and pianists Pedro Gavilan and Zeba Sheik and tenor Jonathan White, who sings my 3 Andalusian songs on the recording. They made my life easy during the recording process. I always try to surround myself with people who get it, and they certainly do. The Spanish musicians know their style intimately and express it as easily as breathing. And Jonathan White's expressive and dramatic singing is something I've admired for a long time, and Zeba Sheik's artistry as a collaborator is truly phenomenal. So I chose well.
The end result sounds fabulous and exciting. You're right, you chose well. Congrats to all.
por el viento, jaca negra, luna roja. Por el llano, por el viento, jaca negra, luna roja. La muerte me está mirando desde las torres de Córdoba. Ay, qué camino tan largo, ay, mi jaca vale rosa. Ay, qué camino tan largo, ay, mi jaca vale rosa. Ay, que la muerte me espera antes de llegar de Córdoba. Córdoba,
In your album, 3 of the songs you wrote were by poems of Federico Garcia Lorca. As a composer, producer myself, I wonder how easy or difficult for you was to address the Andalusian spirit in your compositions.
Well, those songs were composed during the COVID pandemic, when we were all shut away and not allowed to travel, or even go outside in some cases. I so longed to be able to travel back to Andalusia to continue my masterclass al Andalus and to generally immerse myself in everything Andalusian. So writing the songs was a catharsis for me. I chose the text of 3 of my favorite poems of Lorca that reminded me of the beauty of Andalusia and the longing to be there. The 3rd song, in particular, Canción de Jinete, expressed my feeling that I'd never reach Cordoba again. Thankfully, all that's in the past, and I fully resumed my life in Andalusia, but those wonderful Lorca poems did the work for me. I only borrowed from their expression of such beautiful Andalusian themes and tried to musically speak of those things in a way that reflects their native musical language. Whether or not I was successful will be up to the people who hear the songs, but for me, writing them kept me intimately close with all that I love about Andalusia.
Sometimes when we are restricted from people or places that we love, makes us even more passionate to come back. That's how you expressed yourself during the COVID-19. Listening to Canción de Jinete.
ay, qué camino tan largo, ay, mi jaca vale rosa. Ay, qué camino tan largo, ay, mi jaca vale rosa. Ay, que la muerte me espera antes de llegar de Córdoba. Córdoba,
After this fabulous Andalusian legacy adventure, what is the next creative avenue for David Russell?
Well, I'm going to continue to develop my violin masterclass in Granada, with the intent being to expand it into a festival celebrating the time of Al-Andalus. I'm also composing a series of songs based on the 11th century love poems of Princess Walada and Ibn Zaydun. Talk about passionate. Whoa. I also hope to record another full album of classical violin music that's blended with elements from the Arabic influences of Al-Andalus.
And we can't wait to listen to some of those creative adventures. Good luck to it. And now, from the listeners of Light Lounge with Dimitri K, let's wish David great success with his new album, Andalusian Legacy, and for this, interested to purchase it where it can be found.
Thank you, Dimitri. The Andalusian Legacy album is available on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Deezer, and Tidal streaming platforms, and through Albany Parma Recordings. I hope people will enjoy it.
Thanks for stopping by, David, and good luck. You're listening to Light Lounge with Dimitri K. It's time to say goodbye. And remember, hesitation is temporary, music lasts forever. Most of the artists you heard on this show are independent artists. And if you like some of them, you can Google the name and find them on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and the rest of the digital media, and that would be a great support for them. For any comments, suggestions, and feedback, please email me at kopublishing@gmail.com. I'm Dimitri K, broadcasting from the city beautiful Orlando, Florida.
John, is that the blue cat you're talking about?